It's Brad's Laboratory.
A short stroll down a concrete path leads to the first ruin, the Stronghold House. Teetering on the edge of the canyon, the square corners imprint imposing "Man was here" graffiti on the desert landscape. Across the canyon, a more impressive structure called Twin Towers is visible. The next interesting structure is the eroded boulder house, also across the canyon. I can just imagine some 10-year-old kids building this as their clubhouse, learning to mix the mortar and stack the rocks while their dads watched in approval. Next, the path leads to the unit-type house. This house is capped on the left end with a dry stack rock wall that perhaps served as a windbreak on a cold winter night. A Y in the path can either take you to Tower Point or straight to Hovenweep Castle. I chose the path to Tower Point. The path leads back down a finger of the canyon we had just walked along. Scanning the canyon walls, I spot storage areas built into the cliff overhangs, walled up to keep coyotes and other animals out of the stored food and possessions. Tower Point has a couple of large round towers built on it, like lighthouses on a cliff overlooking the sea. These signal to the canyon below the presence of man, even 750 years after construction. The other houses seen previously are easily viewable from these round towers. Next, the trail leads to Hovenweep Castle, a very impressive stone structure reminiscent of castles that you would see in Europe. Stabilization has been done to preserve the ruins. Reconstruction is not practiced unless it is required for stabilization at this site. Concrete was used in the early days as a stabilization mortar, but has been replaced with acrylic modified soil mortar today. Sagebrush surrounds the ruins, denoting that they are abandoned and providing an eerie feeling to the views of the castle. Chinking stones in the mortar joints contrast beautifully with larger rocks, leading to the tight square corners and small windows that look like rifle holes. But there were no rifles 750 years ago in this area. What were these small windows for? Looking down into a second finger canyon, we see Square Tower. This group of ruins is named after this tower. The Square Tower guards a small spring, hence the dense green foliage at the tip of the finger canyon. Unfortunately, there are no paths down to get a closer look at Square Tower. Hovenweep House is the next ruin along the trail. Now on the far side of the canyon, we can look back across at Hovenweep Castle and the other ruins we have already looked at. The dense green behind Square Tower shows the spring is still active. New views of Square Tower are available from this side of the canyon, including some storage areas under the cliff I just spotted. The panoramic views of the desert with rocky ruins scattered hither and thither continue as you move down the path, sipping water now and then. The hot sun beats down, and you will be thankful you wore a hat. An unnamed round house on the canyon floor can be seen framed through a crack in the canyon side. A new structure is close to the path. This is Rimrock House. A bit further along the path are Twin Towers. Looking over Twin Towers across the canyon, Stronghouse is visible. The precariousness of its perch on the canyon rim is breathtaking from the side of the canyon. A large gaping black crack shows clearly between the cliff face and the foundations of Stronghouse. As I get closer to Twin Towers, it too is precariously balanced on the edge of the canyon, with a large moat between it and the cliff face. Twin Towers is the last ruin in the Square Tower group, but the 2-mile hike is not yet done. You must descend to the floor of the canyon and then climb back up out of the canyon. This last bit requires the most exertion of the entire hike. Thankfully, they have thoughtfully placed a bench on the ascent, shaded by pinyon pines where a break can be had and water can be drank. As you top back on top of the canyon rim, one last view of Stronghouse greets you before you head back down the concrete path to the Welcome Center in your car. There are other sites clustered around this main site that you can visit, and there's a campground at the main site, so you can make a base and travel out to see the other sites over a day or so.
It's Brad's laboratory. It's kinda crazy and a little bit weird, but it's gonna be awesome sauce, 'cause it's Brad's laboratory. It's Brad's laboratory. So grab a spot, you'll learn a lot, maybe even how to build a robot, 'cause it's Brad's laboratory.